Okay.
Hey guys, thanks so much for flipping through the pages of yet again our 6th month Moxxie Magazine. Welcome to People Make a Difference. Today we're really excited that you guys have zapped our code and we're here with Felicia and Hunter Wyman, who you guys probably already know because they are the owners of the doghouse here in Waynesville. But they actually have a really tremendous story outside of just the walls of their business, and wanted to kind of bring them here. I think one of the bigger things that we want to focus on is that they are very active inside of the foster care program, and they have a really cool story of how they got there. So not only do we want to kind of talk about how they've changed lives, but also the importance of maybe you guys getting interested in the foster care program here, because there's a lot. Can we say that there's a lot or a ton of foster kids out here? And if you guys had to kind of like throw a number out there, I mean, what does that number look like?
A lot more than I originally thought there was until we started getting involved in it. Most of these people you run into, you don't realize that they're not actually their kids whenever you're speaking to them.
Yeah.
So it pops up more and more as you talk to people and you tell them that you've adopted, and then you come to find out that they adopted their kids as well, and all this kind of stuff.
So what was so we're just gonna kind of like go back, right? So we're just gonna kind of take it back from the very beginning. So you guys have been together for how long?
7 years.
7 years. And then you guys were engaged for, because you guys are newlyweds, aren't you?
We are.
By like a few months?
Yeah,
Yeah.
April.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you guys were together for 7 years. So how long were you guys engaged?
Just a year.
A year? So, I mean, I guess you guys were kind of just going through, at what point, let me ask you this question. At what point were you guys kind of had a life change, like your direction was changing because there was a bigger purpose that you guys were being fronted with, and you guys realized that you just weren't gonna be newlyweds and do like the standard get married, buy the house, raise puppies? When did that happen in your relationship?
So we had a second store in Tennessee, and then whenever our nieces needed us, which are Kendall and Kaya, we decided to close our second store and move back to Waynesville.
So you guys had the store here and there, but you guys are living in Tennessee?
Yeah, we lived in the apartment above our second store,
Okay.
and we commuted here to Waynesville every day, Monday through Friday.
It wasn't doable with kids.
Yeah, we didn't think that we could get them up early enough to go to school, so we decided that we needed to move back to Waynesville. So we bought a house, and we moved back pretty quickly after we found out that we needed to help and get my nieces, because we love them and we wanted to make sure that they had a wonderful life.
So was this like pre-engagement or was this during engagement?
Per.
They were actually there when we got engaged.
But the situation wasn't there.
No.
Okay. That's what I was trying. So I'm just trying to like give people the story of like, how old are you guys?
28.
34.
And boom, you got 2 kids overnight.
And we
That's
loved
just,
it.
I have chill bumps. Like, there's just not people that really do that, I mean, I'm sure there are, they just don't, their stories aren't being shared. So I'm just trying to set the impression, for our readers that, people talk about having bumps in the road or, not being able to overcome obstacles. And here you guys literally just accepted all of it and said, yeah, let's do it. And that's just so incredible.
And they lived with us for about 2 years before the adoption actually got finalized, and it got finalized, 3 days before we got married?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what has been kind of the biggest eye-opening experience for you guys? One, so it's kind of a double-edged question. So one would be the biggest kind of eye-opening experience to you now that you guys are engaged in this system. And then 2, the biggest eye-opening experience is becoming parents overnight.
I'll leave that to you.
I don't know. I mean, we have had them for like 2 years, so I don't know. I mean, we love them, and
Has there never been a time where you and Hunter are like laying in bed and you're like, what are we doing? Or,
Oh,
oh my God. Or how do we handle this situation? Like,
But,
what is an experience like that?
So far, most of the kids that we have had the opportunity to work with and do stuff like that have all been amazing. And like, you expect them to, you think that they're going to have issues and things like that. But I mean, really and truly, they've all been great kids, and it's just hard to see amazing kids go through those types of situations.
Sure.
And things like that.
So in regards to like the foster system, you guys got involved because you guys had an agenda of getting your nieces. So when you guys were going through that process, you guys hadn't really thought about becoming emergency
No.
foster parents until after.
Is when we were going through the classes and hearing the stories and things like that as we're going through, we felt like we could help. So we decided if we could, we should.
Yeah.
But
So are you guys wanting to have your own biological babies?
No.
I think two's good for us. And
Yeah.
then the, as long as we continue doing foster care, we get to share the love with other ones.
Okay, well that's
Yeah.
that's perfect then. That's perfect. So, what kind of have you guys kind of felt like a change within yourselves? I mean, you're really really young to be. I mean, seriously, babe, really young to be a business owner, to be married, to be a mom, and not just to those babies, but you've got several fur babies too. So clearly, you have a brilliant head on your shoulders, and you've got an incredible work ethic. But have you felt yourself change at all during the past 2 years?
I mean, I'm sure I have, but I mean, I don't really notice it as much.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just raised, really well. Sandra and Ray helped, raise me, and I had my mom, but I do have to say that Sandra and Ray really has helped, and that was the previous owners of the shop.
Okay.
I used to go to church with them when I was little, and have sleepovers and stuff like that, and if it wasn't for them, I'm not sure how I would have turned out.
Yeah, or where you would be.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Hunter?
I mean, I definitely don't. I'm not as wild as I used to be. I guess I would say that. Parent
Those nights are
definitely has
over.
a way to kind of ground you down,
Yeah.
Whereas we used to wake up on a Saturday morning and drive to Charleston just to eat oysters and drive back that night.
Yeah.
We're more grounded here, and I it's given me the opportunity to fall more in love with our community and everything, because I do more stuff here now.
Well, and you just got your real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the kind of push behind that?
Well, initially we've hired an amazing staff down there that I've kind of taken away most of my jobs. So it was
At the
more,
doghouse?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was more boredom. And real estate was a career I could go into and still have the flexibility that if I need to pick them up from school early because they're sick or something, I can break away and go do that. Not as opposed to like a steady 9 to 5 where I have to be there every day. It kind of allows for this lifestyle to continue to go strong.
He also used to research like houses and what this what kind of houses are selling, and just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And he's always been intrigued with like the history of the houses and what's the story behind them.
I like
So you've always had an interest in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
In that, like something, how they're built and the layout, the design concept, not necessarily the selling of them, but that kind of
Right.
works hand in hand with one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And looking at them.
and looking at 'em.
That's the fun part.
So tell me a little. So one of the things that you had just shared was you've been able to kind of get a little bit more out of the community. By you guys. I mean, I think, are you still kind of like shoved in the back all the time? Like that's where you hang out, or do you have the flexibility to come out too?
I am a lot in the grooming department, but
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I originally started working there when I was 15. I grew
Wow.
up there. I was a week old whenever I started hanging out, but they didn't really let me do too much hands-on stuff until I got a little older. But I didn't really think I would love grooming as much as I do, and I absolutely love it. Every year we go to compete to test our skills, but also really to learn new trends and stuff like that. And it's just a lot of fun when you can take a dog that you can't even see its eyes and turn it into something that's like so
Beautiful.
cute, like a puppy.
Yes.
It just really brings you joy.
Yeah.
And then you always fall in love with the same dog that you do every 4 to 6 weeks, and you see it and you connect with it. I mean, it's really awesome.
You can get a little
Yeah,
teary-eyed.
yeah.
That's
But
so awesome.
Yeah, I really do love it. I still love the retail, so
Yeah.
I try my best to be out there. One, because I love being able to take a customer's problem, like maybe their dog has a digestive problem, and being able to help show them something that'll fix it. And you know, they take it home, they try it, and they come back and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I wish I talked to you sooner. You know, that's so amazing. It finally worked." And I hear a lot of those stories, and that makes me happy as well. So
Sure.
I love both parts. I just can't be in both parts at the same time.
Of course not. Of
Yeah.
course not. So where do you guys see yourselves kind of moving forward? I mean, you've got the business, which I mean, you just said you guys have really kind of been able to hire just really quality people, so you're kind of advancing and doing other things. Would you guys adopt another long-term baby?
I guess it just depends of the situation. I mean, it has been hard on the cases that we have took for emergency fostering, where they've stayed with us for, you know, sometimes a weekend or a week. You do connect with them, and you know, sometimes it is hard to let them go. But you also have to think of it as, you know, by letting them go, it allows you to be able to help another family.
Sure.
So it is hard, but at the same time, you still impact them. They're still going to remember you, and you know, you touch their life.
So you guys have been emergency foster care parents for how long?
Not very long.
Yeah.
A couple months?
Probably we had our first case last year.
Yeah, we weren't really. I don't think we were supposed to start getting placements for another
Couple months.
3 months, but they've just had such a need for emergency and respite for other foster parents and stuff like that that they just went ahead and started calling us. Usually they wait 6 months anytime you have a life-changing event, which would be like starting a new career,
Sure.
adopting the girls, or us getting married, that kind of stuff, just so you kind of settle down. But they, especially this time of year, they've had so many people go on vacation and stuff, not be able to bring the kids and things like that, we've had extras that even though we weren't quite there yet.
Right, because one of the things that you had shared with me the other day when we were talking about doing this was something that people don't normally think about is the fact that the biological parents still have so many rights over their biological child, even though when they're not in their custody,
Yeah.
which is mind-boggling. So if these girls weren't yours and you guys wanted to go on a trip to Charleston, you guys would have to reach out to the department and get approval from not just the department, but
The
your
family.
sister ultimately.
Right.
And if your sister said no, then you guys couldn't do it.
Well,
So-
we couldn't take them.
You couldn't take them.
Yeah.
You guys could go.
Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't, but
Right.
what would have to happen is you would call the department, and they would have to find a family that's willing to take the kid while you go on your vacation.
Which is just, we'll stop there.
Yeah, good choice.
So when you guys were going through the process, how many other families were taking the same classes as you to become the emergency foster parents? Was there like a congregation, or was there just a few people?
There was about 6 or 7 other couples, for the most part, in our class, and they're 6-week classes.
I think so.
Okay.
Somewhere there.
So it's every 8 or 9 weeks, I think
They're
go
doing
through a
another class.
Yeah.
So do you think that there's just kind of like the message just isn't out there? I mean, when you say that, typically when emergency foster parents come on board and the standard is 6 months before you get a placement, and here you guys are saying we got certified, and I mean, man, they were giving us babies because there's no other place for them to go. Do you think that there's just not an awareness of this program? There's not an awareness of the real true situations that are here? And yeah, okay.
And I think, I didn't think anything of it whatsoever until we started going through with our own girls. And, it wasn't even something that ever really crossed our minds.
Right.
But
So how do you guys feel, what would be a way, other than that, and I hope that this story helps to kind of, get in people's minds that this is a real situation here in our small county, that there's overflow of children. How is another way to kind of get that message out? You guys are living it. Do you guys have friends that reach out that have maybe taken an interest in doing what you guys have done?
I've talked to
Sometimes.
several people about it since we've got into it, and some have shown interest, whether or not they've followed up and gone through.
Right.
I haven't followed up myself to see.
Right.
And maybe that's on me. I should do more to follow up and kind of push people.
In all your spare
towards
time,
it.
now that you're, business owner, real estate agent, dad of two.
But I mean, I think just talking about it is the best way to get the word out.
Absolutely.
And exposing what's going on and how it's going and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we know that you guys have changed these baby girls' lives forever. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Absolutely no-brainer. I don't know what the situation was, but I mean, the fact that you guys jumped in at the situation, at the life that you guys were in together, is quite commendable. You guys have a huge mansion waiting for you on the other side, I can assure you.
Thank you.
So, how do you think that their lives have been changed? I mean, other than the, of course, norm. How are they? How have you seen them shift?
That's on you too.
Yeah, thanks. I definitely think they're a lot more, comfortable than when we first got them. They're really dependent. When they first came to us, they were really dependent, but now they're
Especially on
really,
each other.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They leaned on each other a lot more, and we've worked towards getting them to be more independent. One wants to do
Mhm.
this, one wants to do that kind of stuff, and they've come a long way with it.
Yeah, but they've always been, happy children. But now they have like a little more confidence, and they're a little more willing to explore different kind of activities and stuff like that. So hopefully they're enjoying their life better.
Yeah.
So they have kind of like their interests, brought like new interest to you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
they
Girl
want to go
Scouts.
Girl Scouts.
We go skating all the time.
Yeah.
Which I've always liked to do. I just hadn't done it in like 16 years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So skating.
thing. Yeah.
I would love to see the two of you guys on ice skates or roller skates.
Mhm.
I can't roller skate to save my life. So, do you have anything to say? You want to come
Come
up
on.
here and say how happy you are, and what school are you going to?
You come over here.
Hazelwood
You're the
Elementary?
loudmouth.
Come on, Kaya. You seem to have a lot to say. Come sit on my lap. Come on, let's talk.
Please.
Okay. Well, I know that you guys have done a tremendous job, and I hope that people are able to listen to the story and listen and watch and hear the things that are out there. And hopefully you guys will just kind of continue to be the advocates, very young advocates. You guys have got to be one of the youngest emergency, are you guys?
I don't think so,
so.
because I know quite a few of them that were in there that were at least around my age. I never really asked them.
But what about Felicia at 28?
Yeah, I think there's at least a few that were
Mm-hmm.
near those age. I mean, right fixing to turn 30 or
Mhm.
right at 30.
Some people who do it, maybe they were a foster kid, and then they, felt like, it's really touched their life.
Mm-hmm.
I probably need to do it too. So, I mean, I don't know how all of them end up picking to do it, but, sometimes it's because they were. I mean, in the girls' classes, it really amazed me at how many kids were in their classes that were in either a relative's home or a foster home or something like that. I thought she was going to be the only one, and she definitely was not. So it is huge in our community.
They do say, and I've read this statistic before, is that I wanted to say like it was like 70%, it was something astronomical. 70% of our elementary and middle school children, 70% are not living with their biological family. They're living with an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent or somebody, not their mom and dad.
Right.
70%.
Hi.
So I can only imagine. So I guess that's a bit of a reprieve, but at the same time, it's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So thank you guys for sharing
Thank you.
part of your
Thank
story.
you.
I really appreciate it. You guys, sure it's your last chance. Come wave at the camera.
Come on.
Come get
Yeah,
Hemi.
let's just
Come
go
get
like
Hemi
this.
and come wave. Come on, Kaya. Come on, Kendall.
No, I know.
Come on.
You were a cheerleader. Come on.
This is different.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to cut the camera in 5, 4, 3,
You're still
Can
not
you
in.
wave?
2.
No, I don't want to do it.
Thank thanks guys so much. We hope you enjoyed it. We're definitely going to leave some information here on the page about how you can check into learning more about becoming a foster parent or an emergency foster parent here in Haywood County. Thanks so much to Felicia and Hunter and Emmy and Kaya and Kendall, who's not in the camera. All right. Have a good one. See you next month.